there shouldn't be no, well, I'm going to accept this and okay, I get it. No, it should, the acceptance should come with the person forgiving. The person forgiving and letting go and understanding and all that. Accept that you're doing that with no intention of the other person doing the same thing you did. And that always makes a lot of things easier. Now, if the other person wants to try to allow forgiveness and so forth, that is up to them. How they interpret it and respond to it is quite unique, which we'll probably get into that on the next show that I do, or the next episode that I do, because it can be very tricky inside of a woman's mind how to interpret that and understand that, because what's hidden in forgiveness is in a couple ways. Either they forgive their spouse, or they end up continue to blame the spouse or the other person. But the most beautiful thing in a woman forgiven is they can forgive two at the same time, which is two birds. Is that saying knocking? The taking out two birds with one stone. That's the special thing about a woman's forgiveness. So, forgiveness and judgment shouldn't always go together, because for one person it's different. For the other person, the judgment is even harder, because the difficulty in it is that they're judging themselves as well. Because as they're blaming themselves. As they're judging themselves. And so, when it comes to judgment, the only thing that can judge is the next steps, the future, time. Allowing for it to be different, to see the change, to understand every day after that. And so remember, forgiveness, it has a cause and effect itself. When one person forgives, then two can be forgiven. When two can forgive, then four can be forgiven. And it always multiplies. And the more forgiveness there is, the less of a war there is. The less grudge there is. Less health issues. Forgiveness covers a lot of things in life that people will go to doctors for, that people have health issues for. Why? Because they hold in. If they hold it in, it becomes more of a feeling that's not the best feeling, because when it's triggered, it becomes more of a disturbance. The feeling exceeds the times difference. Like, it can go from a level of, from 1 to 10, a certain, like, that's just an example, jealousy, person can have jealousy in the beginning stage, and it's like at a level 2, and then all of a sudden, person doesn't conquer or understand the jealousy factor of their life. 5-6 years later, the jealousy level is, at a 7 or 8, which causes different aggressions and different emotions and different triggers of another behavior that they need to understand. By the time you know it, all their emotions can get triggered. With one trigger, can set off all their emotions. It's like a firework. You got the one firework you can light and get one pop out of it. And then you have those fireworks with one fuse that you can light the one fuse, and you get like 10 or 20 like very loud pops, and that's how the behavior becomes effective if it keeps being held in like this. So when anybody needs to understand forgiveness, it's all about self-realization and the truth, and being honest with yourself and being compassionate towards the other person and why their behaviors may have affected your own emotions and behaviors. It's about looking at yourself face to face, understanding what you did wrong, not what the other person did wrong. When you do understand what the other person did wrong, it's at that point that it's your choice. So what are you going to do about it? What we do about it is the next step towards what our future is. And the future can either be changed or it can go on for several years even after we're not around, which is more effective towards our own children. So self-realization is a big thing when it comes to forgiveness. Forgiveness is very understanding to some and difficult to others. Some people prefer different methods. Other people don't understand that there is no other method, because this is the only method. Any other method is just a band-aid over it. It's just a pause in your life. It's just a cover-up. Go to yoga. Well, cover it up. Why? Because you'll focus yourself into losing weight or into being relaxed or so forth. But once you get out of that yoga class, your problems stir up again. Same thing with any other thing that you can do. Yes, it's great to exercise. Yes, yoga is awesome and it's great. Outdoors is great. Getting in tune with nature is great. All that stuff is great. But it's just a band-aid. Are you willing to replace your whole life with what a natural cure can be? Because the natural cure can either be 24/7 doing it, the nature part, the exercising, the getting in tune with nature, the forgetting about stage, but that comes with time and only one situation. So the one situation can take almost a lifetime of cover-ups. So whatever method or remedy that people look up, yes, they're great. They can mellow you out. They can calm you down. They can do all that stuff. But it's only allowing you to veer yourself from thinking about it. And so when life confronts you again in the same matter, it's like you pick up from where you left off. And then the whole thing occurs again in your head. Whether it's any type of relationship. So you can cover it up for 10 years with forgetting about it and alternative methods. But once you're in the same situation again, you're picking up where you left off. So be careful about what you're covering up, because what you cover up always gets uncovered. Because people are always wondering. So the ultimate method is just to confront yourself in a very compassionate way, a very understanding way, truthful way, truthful matter. If the other person responds different, then it's not your fault, because you did all you can do. So forgiveness is a big factor in life, and that's about all we can do, is forgive. And from there, the next person makes their step or their move or whatever they're going to do. But honesty, forgiveness, truthfulness, being admitted to yourself first, so you can have the understanding and step-by-step moments, and the clarity comes with it, because you won't have to be confused anymore. You can understand why. You can get all those why factors answered in a way that no other therapist can. So remember about forgiveness, because forgiveness is the best action towards the next footstep, towards your next change. And remember always to have logical thinking and a common sense factor. And once you get past those steps, then you're able to allow yourself to move forward, to move on, to do things differently. Because at that point, you'll learn from your mistakes in the most different manner ever possible to mankind, to humankind. And you'll be able to not have to reflect back, but learn new things differently. And allow yourself a future that you never saw coming. So the next episode that I'm going to do is going to be about the knocking two birds with one stone, because that's the most trickiest part when it comes to dealing in a different manner, in a different being, which would be the woman factor of understanding.